Hey everybody, it's Corey at Linda's. Today I have Pauline with me. We met at the Houston International Quilt Market and Festival.
We did.
And she was swinging up through Dallas, and I asked her to stop by and talk about her amazing Quilting is So Simple, or Quilt As You Go system. And I'm so excited that you're here.
Well, we're delighted to be here. Like, it was so wonderful to meet you.
Yeah.
Because I did meet you years ago, but
Correct.
we only just connected to that yesterday, that we had already met very, very briefly some years ago, pre-COVID.
Yes, pre-COVID.
But we are delighted to be here, so thank you for inviting us into your beautiful studio.
You're welcome.
And seeing your amazing shop.
Thank you.
I've got to go fabric shopping today.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So talk to me about the Quilt As You Go, kind of the idea and the piece, because I think it gets a bad rap in the older way of doing it. You've got this new revolutionary, iconic way of doing it. So talk to us about kind of how it came about.
Well, it's been a passion of mine for a lot of years, because I've been teaching patchwork and quilting for over 40 years. And I've just come across so many people who cannot quilt a big quilt.
Right.
And so many people who are intimidated with the free motion quilting style of quilting, which is just beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, like we see what's happening with the quilting world, which is fabulous. But I just felt for those people. I just think there was a whole bunch of people out there that would love to make their own large quilts on their domestic machine.
Yes.
But they're so intimidated by the free motion quilting method.
Right.
You know, a lot of them have tried it and given up because it, I know, but you're a brilliant long armer. I know you're a brilliant long armer. So I was surprised when you come to ask me about this technique.
Yeah.
But I think when I sat you at my machine at the show and showed you how I quilt without free motion quilting.
Amazing. I was like, oh God, I had to go buy a new machine just because I wanted one. You don't need it for this, but
No,
I wanted one.
I know, but I couldn't get you off the machine.
You couldn't get me off the machine.
We just went about business and he just sat there and quilted away. So,
yes.
It's amazing. So I love to help people dissect their quilt pattern down into a quilt as you go.
Okay.
So it's just a very simple technique, but I want to take it to the next level.
Okay.
Because I just didn't want a little strip on the back and the front.
Right.
I didn't want bulk at the seams. I didn't want the blocks to stretch out. So it's been a 10-year process developing this technique.
Wow.
So, and through the challenge to myself to get it refined down, I had to look for the right products.
Yeah.
Because I found a lot of things weren't giving me the result that I needed.
Right.
So that's why the process has taken so long, is looking for the right things to make this work. And I just felt, well, how am I going to look after these people?
Right.
I'm alone, you know, I'm one person that's developed this technique. I have a wonderful team around me. I have a beautiful people around me. But I just couldn't get it out there to the world.
Right.
I'd love to travel the world and teach my technique. Like, I love coming to America, but I do have to be real that I'm getting a bit older and I do need to stay at home sometimes. So the only way I could think of doing this was develop a quilt and put it online like as a sampler quilt.
Okay.
Not in a sampler as in piecing the blocks and doing all that, but a sampler of all my quilting designs that we use, and joining the quilt together in different aspects so that people could do a free online lesson with me, which we've called the QISS. We've called it the Exquisite Quilt, coming from the QISS system.
Okay.
Now, we've based this on the QISS system.
Okay.
You know, keep it simple, but nobody in the quilting world is stupid.
Right.
So we couldn't use that.
Right.
So we've put it QISS with a Q. Quilting is so simple.
Oh, wow.
So that's why we've branded it under that. So when we developed the quilt, which is the quilt behind us here.
Yeah.
So we've called it the Exquisite Quilt.
The Exquisite Quilt.
EXQISSITE. Exquisite. So the QISS is in the name of the quilt.
Right.
So, and we have developed a lot of other quilts around it. The lovely thing at the show, we've had authors of books and pattern designers come to us and say, can we help them develop their quilts into Quilt As You Go?
Wow.
So that they can put another set of instructions in their patterns so the the quilter now can make a choice. Do I quilt my quilt as a whole big quilt, or do I dissect it down into Quilt As You Go?
Do I work through it? Which I think is really amazing. And I think for those that don't understand or know what Quilt As You Go is, can you kind of break it down to some of block by block aspect? Because you talked about
certainly.
quilting this on a domestic machine.
Yeah.
So
I use a normal domestic machine.
Okay.
So I cut each block out. These are just little small blocks here. We've got all different size blocks.
Yeah.
And I chose to do all different size blocks because a lot of people think everything has to be square or a rectangle or the same size.
Right.
I want to get them off that. Change
Jumble that
the way
up,
we
throw
can
that
do
out.
things.
Yeah.
So I cut my backing fabric out.
Okay.
I cut the batting out. Now, this is where the challenge came. I tried so many different battings, and I found that I was getting too much stretching. I was getting too much bulk when I joined the blocks together. So that's why I choose to use the Hobbs Heirloom double-sided fusible batting.
Their fusible batting's
The
amazing.
fusible batting, which is wonderful. No stretching, no bulk at the seams, no distortion.
Okay.
So I cut out the 3 layers, just a little bit bigger.
Okay.
I iron the 3 layers together, or press the 3 layers together with a hot dry iron.
Right.
Then I trace the design onto the fabric,
Okay.
however people want to do that. Then I set my sewing machine up, feed dogs up. Feed dogs up. You remember that,
Yes,
don't you?
yeah.
Because it took me a little while to convince you the feed dogs were up.
Yeah, it didn't. I was like, no, they shouldn't be up. You don't need them up. And
Yeah.
you're like, no, you want them up.
They're
for
up.
this. Yeah.
The feed dogs are up. I use an open toe foot, the foot that has nothing in the front, so that I can see the line.
Right.
I set my stitch length,
Okay.
and then I make an adjustment on the machine.
Yes.
And that's what people need to do the class, to learn what their machine can do.
Right.
Because they're a brilliant piece of equipment.
Oh, of course.
But I don't know why I even started fiddling with my machine. Just through COVID, I had time.
Right.
And after doing a survey to a lot of quilters, I was getting so many people coming back saying, I can't free motion quilt, I'm intimidated.
Right.
So I kept fiddling with the machine, and there it was.
And that was the it thing.
The it thing.
Which they find out in the class.
That's
which
right.
is amazing.
That's right. And like anybody can quilt. If you can adjust your machine like I do mine, which most machines do it,
Yes.
once I get the quilting done, I'll then obviously trim the blocks back to the size I need.
Right.
And then I join it together in our Quilt As You Go technique.
Which is absolutely incredible. In another video, we can talk about a little bit of the joining together, because we do want you to take the class to really learn it. And it is that free class.
That's free
Which
to
is amazing.
everybody.
Yes.
Free to everybody.
But it's really cool how this comes together, because it does not look like it was done block by block by block.
No.
Even on the back, it doesn't look at all like it was done block by block by block. It's completely
It looks
seamless.
like a full back, but
Correct.
it's not.
Right.
Definitely not.
Right.
And we've done all the sashings as a sampler, because so many regular quilt patterns might say put stars in the sashing,
Right.
put triangles in the sashing,
Right.
but they have to be developed differently with this technique than when you put a normal quilt together. And I know when I showed you, you were a little bit like, oh my gosh.
Right. No, I was blown away.
Yeah. So we've developed a whole system around this, and it is called the QISS system.
The QISS system.
Quilting is so simple.
So let's go overhead and let's take a look at these products that you've got that make this amazing sampler come together.
Okay, so now this is what it's all about. In here we have, for the quilting part, we have 3 products that we've developed for around this.
Okay.
Now, we've done this because purely I've found that nearly everything that's out there now for quilting, to get a design onto the fabric, are designed for free motion quilting.
Right.
We found a lot of them didn't work for this technique.
Right.
But of course, people can try anything, but this is what we use.
Okay.
So if anybody was going to do this free course with me, this is where they'll get all their quilting designs from.
Okay.
So in the feathers, there's 3 big templates in here. We designed with 3 different size templates, because templates can be long and skinny, they can be plumper and flowing better. So out of this you can create thousands and thousands of template designs.
So cool.
And it's so easy. We just, as I say, iron the 3 layers together, put the template on your fabric and draw around the shapes, which we'll teach them
Correct.
how to draw up different feathers in the course.
One thing I really like about these this templates as well is you're using them on that domestic machine for Quilt As You Go, but as you excel, or maybe you have a long arm as well, you can use these with your long arm, that same drawing technique.
Absolutely.
And so they're not just a one-stop. You could use them forever and ever and ever.
Anybody can use them.
Yeah.
And we were really delighted that a lot of long armers come and bought them off us at the show.
Right.
Simply for that fact.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are not natural artists.
No.
And they can't draw that shape naturally. So this will help.
Right.
The dot-to-dot system is a very clever system.
Okay.
So there's 5 templates in here. 2 templates are a grid. And the template's got holes in it, like an inch divisions. And then there's another one that's an 1.5 inch division.
Okay.
So which means you can do multiple sizes.
Okay.
And then there's 3 templates in here that create the curve shapes.
Okay.
So you're going to line dot to dot. Very curious. So see the melons?
Yes.
That's how we created them. So we can do clamshells, melons. It'll get you started with spirals. It'll get you started with so many different curve shapes. And once again, we'll educate people through the program.
Yeah.
All the wonderful designs you can create with these
Just
templates.
using those simple dots in that system.
Simple dots.
So I've listened to her talk about this multiple times at the show, but even each time you explain it, I go a little bit further in my brain that, oh, I could go that way, that way, that way, that way. You could take this so many different ways.
Absolutely.
It's not a one-stop shop.
No.
With this template and with this dots system.
Not at all.
Which is amazing.
Which I think if people had these,
Yeah.
they would have quilting designs for so long.
Oh, yeah.
That they'd apply to absolutely anything.
Right.
Absolutely anything. So it's very exciting.
Okay.
Okay.
What do we have? What's this next piece of
This one here is just to create floral designs because a
Uh-huh.
lot of people love to put flowers and all sorts of things. It's a very small template. But from that you can create so many different designs. Like we can just use these shapes here.
Right.
And create like another feather look, but it won't look like a feather.
Right.
We can use these pieces here to fill in a border, which we're going to show all of that in the program.
Yeah.
There's more on the back.
Wow. So this one's coming with 3 templates.
3 templates.
And then you can use it for a ton of different
Yeah,
designs.
yeah. And we'll teach people all the designs they can create with this. And we have a full different range of all of these in different
different size. Because I see set F.
Yes.
So I'm assuming you're using the alphabet
We
here. So
are.
there's a bunch before.
There's a bunch.
And I'm assuming some after.
We're up to M.
Oh, wow.
A
Okay.
to M have been developed.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we're going to keep developing. We're into the stage of developing border and sashing designs at the moment
Okay.
to add to this range. So it'll give a complete package to everybody that wants to be a brilliant quilter on their normal little domestic machine.
That's awesome.
One block at a time.
One block at a time. So you've got these 3 right here. What do you have over
Okay,
here?
let's put these ones aside.
Okay.
They're for the quilting.
Okay.
Now, a lot of these, like, I was just going to go back a little way.
Okay.
These can be used for applique as well. I could applique tulip flowers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I could add leaves to it. So we're going to show all of that in the course too.
Wow.
Not only are you going to learn just the quilting and the joining together, we'll give you a lot of other
And this is the free course.
free course.
And you only just need to purchase this stuff to do it,
Just that.
along with your fabric and
Yeah,
your batting.
yeah.
But that's incredible. Wow.
They could order the batting and the fabric from you. You could do
Yes.
kits for them.
Yes.
Are you into that?
Yeah.
Pick choosing their colours?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah. I've already figured out how I'm going to do mine.
What colour?
I thought about
what
that.
colour?
I'm going to have black negative space.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm going to rainbow ombre throughout
And
it.
then you're going to use variegated thread to quilt
Yep.
with. Aha! And you're going to use, in your bobbin, what are you going to use?
Monopoly.
Yeah,
in my
invisible
bobbin.
thread.
Invisible thread.
So that it hides all of the back will make it, it'll look like one full back. So
Right.
we're going to teach everybody all of these little tricks, including Corey.
Yeah, this is
Follow
exciting.
Corey because we've got to watch what you're up to. So this set here is what we've designed to join the quilt together.
Okay.
Okay, so many years ago I wrote my Quilt As You Go book.
Okay.
I haven't changed it
Okay.
because I had this in mind.
Gotcha.
You know how you have a vision?
Yes.
And it takes a long time for that vision to come together?
Yes, I do.
When I wrote the book, I purposely put a lot of information in it about, I've even got free motion quilting in here because back then I was doing free motion quilting.
Correct. Yeah.
I've left a lot of spare pages because as we work through the program, we have to teach people a lot about their sewing machine.
Yeah.
Now, every machine brand and model are different.
Yes.
So this is going to be the hardest part of teaching people online is trying to get them to understand what their machine will do.
Right.
And once we explain things to them and they find the settings, I want them to write their settings in the book.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to write mine down because when we were at the show and I was on your machine, you said go to this number.
Yes.
And so I did it and it worked flawlessly.
Yeah.
And then I came home and that number wasn't available on my machine.
Exactly.
And so
you had to find.
I had to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
And then I figured out the sweet spot. And so now I have to write that down.
Yeah.
And it depends on whatever machine you're on. I have 3 different machines, and so I need to write those different
3?
numbers. I do.
Oh.
Yes. And yes, I'm very blessed.
But as we work through, we're going to be talking about different needle positions, different feet to use.
Wow.
I want people to write it down.
Okay.
Now, Quilt As You Go, there's measurements involved, so people could get a little bit confused with the measurements, so I've put a cutting chart in here so that people know the size they're going to finish with, what they need to cut their batting, what they need to cut their fabric. So that's all in there.
You've taken all the guesswork out of it, which is wonderful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why the book's important.
Okay.
Then when I was developing the Quilt As You Go technique, I was teaching in the outback because I teach a lot of the women in the very, very outback. And I was in Western Australia, which is on our west coast, and I was in a little tiny town. And I was making a quilt where I had to fold the strips for the sashing. Because when we do Quilt As You Go, you've got to fold the edges under for the sashings. I was burning my fingers so badly.
Oh, yeah.
And I said to my husband, we need to develop something so I don't burn my fingers. So he cut a slit in a piece of cardboard for me. Okay. And it nearly worked, but the cardboard all started to twist. Yeah. So then the next morning he got up and bought a bottle of milk, poured the milk down the drain, cut the plastic up, and that was the day the sasha tools were invented.
Wow.
That's how they were invented.
Outback
Australia, out of necessity.
Not to burn your fingers.
So, and then I started showing people in my class that I was teaching. And they worked, that little bit of plastic worked perfectly.
Yeah.
So then we designed the whole range.
Thing.
So we have different sizes ranging, well, we have 22 different sizes.
Wow.
For all different purposes, for dressmakers.
Yes.
For anybody that just makes bags, they work perfectly for. So this is the most popular 12 out of the set.
Okay.
From 3-inch down to 1/8 of an inch.
Okay.
For those that want to do hand applique and stems. Even one in here to do a binding with a flange. In Australia, we call it a peeper strip.
A
little
peeper strip.
And on the quilt, you'll notice it down the side here.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to teach people how to do that.
Okay.
Okay. So these are what we're going to use to make our sashings.
Okay.
So you're going to cut the fabric double the measurement of the tool.
Okay.
You're going to fold both ends till they meet, thread it into the tool and press this with the iron. No more burnt fingers.
And no melting of the tool.
No melting of the tool.
It just...
Sure.
Wow.
So that's what makes all of these sashings, because they turn the edges back beautifully.
Wow. Okay.
So that is those. Now with the purple templates, as I said before, to make a sashing for Quilt As You Go, you've got to fold the edges back in under.
Okay.
So when you do triangles, like we have up here, you can't use a normal right angle triangle.
Right.
Because you've got to allow for the turn back. So I have a very clever young man that works with me, Simon. He's my graphic design engineer. He's designed these for the world.
For the world.
For the world. The turn backs are included in the template.
Oh, wow.
So if you're going to make a 2-inch sashing, which we're going to be doing in the course, people will need the 2-inch set.
Okay.
They don't have to think anything past that measurement.
Wow.
Because when we cut around these and join them all together and put them through the tools, we end up with perfect right angle triangles.
It does all the math for you.
Does it all.
Oh my gosh.
So it's all in there. So that's what people would need to join the quilt together. So six
pieces.
6 pieces.
To create this entire beautiful masterpiece.
Plus many other quilts.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Many
it doesn't just
quilts.
stop right here with this.
No, it's the beginning.
So, okay. So I do have to tell everyone. So when we sat down and I talked with Pauline, we believed in this system so much. We believed in you so much that we are going to be carrying this here at Linda's.
That's the exciting part of this.
This is really, really cool.
Yeah.
We're going to be carrying this system, and that way you can follow along with Pauline and sometimes with myself as we work through this amazing thing.
Yes. Well, we'll be watching you.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Okay, well, I think it'll be fantastic. And, you know, it's really lovely you coming from being a brilliant quilter on a long arm to now wanting to come and learn this.
Yeah.
It just adds it all together.
It gives kind of that full circle moment. And the reason I really like this system so much is, like, I'm blessed and I'm thankful enough to have room for long arms and to have a long arm, but not everybody does.
No.
And I feel like that's a segment of the market that's been left out.
And there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a huge amount. Like when I do all the shows in Australia, and I did my talks on my booth here, everybody that sat down when I asked the question, who's intimidated by free motion quilting? Everybody but 1 or 2 people in all the thousands that I've connected to in the last few years say, I've tried it, I can't do it, I can't make any more quilts. Well, that's such a shame.
It is, yeah.
We need people to make beautiful big quilts and enjoy the journey.
Correct.
I'd say by about the 4th lesson, I'll have people doing feathers beautifully.
Okay.
Okay, that's my guarantee.
Okay, I'll
so
take
long
that.
as they can adjust their machine to what I'm going to show them.
Right.
But you know what I say to people? If you can't do it, go buy a machine that can do it.
True.
Because you can get a very simple, low-cost machine to be able to do the quilting the way I do.
To really enjoy the quilting process, to get back into it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have a big, massive space to do it, especially with this technique.
Yeah, but that's the whole system.
That's amazing.
And we'll follow it up with a lot more education as we develop. You know, we've developed a lot of other quilts and we've got so many other things in mind that watch this space.
This is incredible. Okay, so you can find this system here at Linda's. We'll have the whole set together, and then you can follow Pauline on her website. That's where they're going to do the sign up for the course. Okay, so talk about how they're getting the lessons and how that works.
Well, you need to go to my website, which is pqw.com.au, because we are from Australia. You probably gathered by that little bit of a twangy accent. If you go there, put your email address and your name in, then click on the QISS page, and then it'll give them all the instructions. There's the fabric amount that they need to purchase, all the information. They can download the cutting chart and the layout chart. And then episode 1 is up there now, ready on YouTube.
Okay.
They go to YouTube. Lesson 2 is going up in the next day or so, and that will be all about prepping your fabric, cutting and all of those things.
Wonderful.
And then every couple of weeks we'll put the new episode up.
Okay.
The good thing about it is it's an evergreen, which means it's going to be there forever.
Right.
So it's not a timeline. It's not like a course, a paid course where you have to get your homework done in a certain period of time. So you could watch the video over and over again and just sit down at your machine, put your screen on, and watch what we do.
And get working on it.
And then I know there's going to be questions because it's unique, it's different. And like when I start talking about the maths in the everything, I see the glazed look come over people. So I'm going to have to really explain things well.
Right.
I know there's going to be questions, so we're going to form a private Facebook group.
Okay.
So that's why we need you to register on our website so that we can then let people know that we're going live on Facebook. We'll bring you in too, Corey, because you may be having questions for us.
Yeah.
And your customers may be having questions. So we can joint discussions, questions and answers in our Facebook group. So
That'd be fantastic.
that's all the support we want to give to people.
Yeah, I think that's really what makes or breaks a
Yeah.
product and a course
Yes.
is that you're there to answer the questions no matter
Absolutely.
what.
Absolutely.
To really make you confident.
Yep.
And then you just kind of send them off.
Yep.
And then they start creating beautiful, beautiful quilts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And, you know, they can buy the products from you here in America.
Right.
Save shipping from Australia.
Right.
And in Australia, they'll buy from us.
Yep.
So everybody's happy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
which
amazing.
is wonderful. So,
Well, thank you so much for coming up here and walking us through this amazing product.
my
And
great pleasure.
I can't wait to start mine, and I know everyone else is so excited to start
Yeah.
theirs.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Again, all of these products will be available on our website, lindas.com. I will have all of the information linked in the description below, and then we'll also create a page on our website
Okay.
that has all
Oh,
of
right,
your
that they
information
can
as well.
download. Yep,
yeah.
that's
So
fabulous.
that makes it
Yep,
easier as
yep,
well for everybody.
fabulous, fabulous.
So, alrighty, thank you all so much for joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.